What is land pollution? It is when we destroy our land surface. When humans throw chemicals in the form of pesticides, insecticides, and fertilizer during agricultural practices. The exploitations of minerals has also contributed to the destructions of the Earth's surface. And finally, the waste, which is collected and sent to the landfill, where the pollution's actions begins. These are some of the main types of land pollutions. Unfortunately, there are many more types. These can be catastrophic consequences of land pollutions in the relations of humans, animals, water, and finally, and the most important is, to the soils. It can cause breathing and skin problems and various cancers. There are three major ways to overcome the pollutions, which are by recycling, by reusing, and also by reducing. These three major elements have been implemented into these innovations in order to bring brighter and sustainable agricultural future in our lovely country, Malaysia.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. So before we jump into the brilliant innovations idea, it will be nice if we get to know each other first. So people know me as Syahira Sulaiman, a part 2 student in UiTM Jasin, and I am a student of 8222 Bachelor of Science in Agrotechnology in Agronomy. So, in this video, we will be having a deep discussion toward one of the most critical and crucial issues that's happening not only in Malaysia, but also in all over the world, and that issue is currently getting worse during this season of COVID-19 pandemic. The problem that we have been concerned about is regarding the severe environment pollutions that have been hitting our mother nature, especially towards the water and the soil pollutions, where the trend is increasing from year to year. Environmental pollutions can be defined as the additions of any substances such as solid, liquid, and gases, or any form of energy such as heat, sound, or radioactivity to the environment. At the rate fast, it can be dispersed, diluted, decomposed, recycled, or stored in form of harmless form. Those components will lead to several problems, especially with the soil quality, where it will disturb the soil mineral content, changing in soil pH, disturbance of soil microorganism activity, and moisture content, and others. However, do you know one of the major contributors to this deadly pollution problem are coming from one of our country's major sector? Yep, this pollution is initially caused by the agricultural sector. We can see that the agricultural sector is top 5 in Malaysia's GDP contributor, and it shows us how important the agricultural sector is. What a painful truth, isn't it? So, based on research conducted by Rafia Afars, Muhammad Mahdi Masood, Rolia Akhtar, and Zaida binti Duasa, there have been highlighted that agriculture waste is one out of 3 main sources of water pollution here in Malaysia. So, the biggest question mark is, why the agricultural said to be the main pollution contributor? So, in another research article that is also written by Rafia Afroz, she mentioned this problem mainly caused by inadequate and inappropriate treatment of sewage, inefficient and improper agro-waste management from the agricultural industry. So, we keep on talking about the agricultural waste or the agri-waste. So basically, what is agri-waste? So agri-waste can be said as the unwanted waste product from the agricultural activities such as the fertilizing and livestock rearing. So globally, there are 988 million tons of agri-waste produced in a year and 1.2 million tons of agri-waste produced only here in Malaysia. This agri-waste can be divided into 4 major groups, which are the crop waste, animal waste, processing waste, and lastly, the hazardous waste.
Hi, my name is Joseph Gary and I'm studying in Bachelor of Science Agrotechnology, Horns Agronomy. in UITM.
On 11 March 2020, World Health Organization was declared that COVID-19 as a worldwide pandemic. The COVID-19 pandemic has resulted in immediate, serious and worldwide human health issues. The COVID-19 pandemic has created a massive disruption in the food system from farm to fork. In some cases, we have observed and experienced severe food shortage. In others, food cannot reach end consumer and it ultimately wasted. The restriction on transport and economic activities are constraining the supply side capacity, resulting in significant increases in food loss and waste, especially of perishable agriculture products. Producers are also being impacted by the diminished access to important input to agriculture such as inorganic fertilizer. Due to labor shortage and exposure risk human and animal waste, management which are crucial to protect public health and environment have also become a challenges under the current restriction imposed by the COVID-19 crisis. COVID-19 has a serious impact on all parts of our society, and waste management is no exception. Waste management in developing countries is usually not operated in accordance with international standards, and so there have been additional difficulties with increased amount of potentially affected waste, which is require additional careful handling and treatment processes.
From the statistic here, we can see the COVID-19 pandemic has led to an increase in healthcare waste all around the world. In Bangkok, it is estimated that healthcare waste generation increased to 160 metric ton per day during the crisis, compared to the 26 metric ton before. This was a daily increase of almost 500%. One of the reasons for the dramatic rise in waste is the increased use of disposable personal protective equipment (PPE) such as masks.
So without any further ado, let's jump into the brilliant innovations on how the agri-waste can be managed properly, and at the same time, it can enhance the soil fertility. So first thing first, the most important concept here in agri-waste applicator method is the 3R. So basically, what is 3R? So 3R is reuse, recycle and reduce. So one of the best way to countering this agri-waste management problem is by having a proper agri-waste management system itself. The agri-waste management that I have innovated is the farm-friendly, where it can be used or applied in various type of sector, either it is an animal or livestock farm such as chicken, swine, sheep or cattle, or crop farms such as the maize, paddy and vegetable. I call this innovation as the use-it-all management system. So for a glimpse of a sneak peek, these are the basic system that I will be using here in this system. So firstly is the production, second is the collection, third are the transfer, treatment and recycle, and lastly the applications.
So this is the layout of my system innovations, where it consists of barn and farm, recycle house that consists of organic and inorganic house, commercial cell, and the treatment pond site.
So firstly is the productions. This is the initial step where the waste is initially produced either by the animals or crop, and those waste are in form of animal waste, crop waste, hazardous waste, and lastly is the processing waste. This waste will be collected and properly separated or classified or even divided based on the specific future process. Next, those classified waste that have been separated or divided from the initial step, which is the productions, then being transferred into different sections. So basically in this system, I have decided that there will be two sections, which are the recycle house and the reduce sections. But first, let's talk about the recycle house first. So basically, what is recycle house? So recycle house actually is a place at which the waste is being transformed into gold, and inside this section also it can be divided into two major houses. For the first one is for the organic waste such as the animal waste, crop waste, and some of organic processing waste such as the paper, tissue, and the boxes. This organic waste will be processed and transformed into gold, which are the compost, mulch, livestock feed, and biomass. Those compost and mulch that produced from this process then being used in the farm for the soil enhancer and quality fixer. Compost can help in enrich soil, retain moisture content, suppress plant disease and pests. Besides, it also can encourage the productions of the beneficial microbes such as the bacteria and the fungi, and this microbe can help in enrich the nutrient materials. And the most important things for this process is to lessen or reduce the dependency towards the chemical fertilizer or chemical substances that will cause more environment pollution in the future. As for mulch, it also shares the some benefit as compost, where the mulch will provide nutrients and remain the moisture level inside the soil. But the holy grail is that it can prevent the emergence and the infestations of it in the crop field sections. In fact, these crop residue are the fibrous part of crops that remain after the edible parts by the human are being removed. But however, this part might be unedible by the human but not for the animals, where this waste can be consumed by the animal. So this crop waste can be processed into the livestock feed, and it can help the farm to cut their feed expenses and increase their saving or profit. Second is the house that will place the inorganic waste materials such as the plastic wrap of the livestock feeds, can, bottle, and others. This waste will be packed properly to be sent to another specialized mill that will help to recycle these types of waste into another form. So, previously, if you can recall, I had mentioned that this waste will be transformed into gold. So, what are the gold that I mean? So, basically, what I mean is, other than farm application for increasing the soil fertility, the quality, and feed, this process waste can also provide extra profit towards the farm, where they can use it as a commercial sale, where they can sell the product to the other consumer. So now let's turn in the page to the new sections, which is their use sections. So obviously, in the crop farms, those chemical substances such as herbicide, the pesticide, and fertilizer are very common in the farm, and it's even hard to eliminate. The applications of those hazardous substances will lead to serious environmental pollutions and even fatality, not only for the human being but also towards the animal and plant. The improper usage will lead to the excessive application, where based on the research, out of the 60% and 90% of the applications, only 10% to 40% of the substances are absorbed by the plants, and others are being drained away due to the runoff, and it will be negatively affect towards the soil and even the water. Thus, here in these sections, which is the reuse sections, those hazardous substances will be treated for the better agricultural future. So, firstly, those hazardous waste or runoff waste will be transferred into the treatment pond. Yes, you heard it right, pond, just a simple or the common pond that we see, and this is where the magic of the biotechnology being used, where it will be implementing the bioremediations method. So do you ever heard about bioremediations, or do you ever aware about that? So basically, bioremediations is a method using the living organism to fix the pollution, especially regarding the water pollutions. By a proper definition from EPA, it is a treatment that being used naturally occurring organism to break down the hazardous substances, where in this content, it is the chemical substances such as the herbicide, the pesticide, and the fertilizer into the form that is less toxic or non-toxic substances at all. Inside the treatment pond, the bioremediations method type that I will be using is the phytoremediations. The meaning of the phyto itself is plant. So, inside the pond, I will be using specific plants such as Brassicas, Alpine Panacris, Thalapsis species, and Lemna species to remediate the pollutions by removing, transferring, stabilizing, and or destroying the contaminations inside the soil and water. This plant will functioning by absorbing or immobilizing the pollutant inside the soil, such as the runoff of the fertilizer and herbicide. However, I will not only be remediating the waste only inside the pond itself, but also towards the farm field and along the pathway towards the treatment ponds too. So for this one, I will be using myco-bioremediations method. So basically, myco is a word taken from the microbes. So do you get what I'm thinking? Yep, you get it right. Here is the process where I will be using the bacteria and fungi to assist and help me in order to clean the pollutions, where they will clean the contaminated soil and underground water with their ability to degrade the pollutants. Moreover, these microbes will feed on the hazardous substances for energy that will break down the targeted contaminations. So last but not least, here is a quick question. So why do you think I picked bioremediations method in my innovations? So, despite cost-friendly, this method will not only help in countering the pollution problems in environmental friendly way, but it is also the ultimate weapons toward the soil quality enhancer, as it will stabilize the soil pH, the mineral, the CEC, the organic content, and others. So, as what I have said previously, these innovations of mine is fully dedicated for not only for the better environments, but also to improvise the soil quality, where now it can be seen getting sicker due to the improper agricultural activities.
Next, we go to the management of use it all system during pandemic COVID-19. First, we go to the problem that community faces during pandemic COVID-19. They have two problems during pandemic, which is a lack of workforce, and second is a limited time operation. As we know that during pandemic, only 50% of workers are allowed to work in field in one day. This makes the process of producing product from agricultural waste become slower, especially in recycle house area, which is need a lot amount of workers to collect the agricultural waste and put in the recycle house. Second is a limited time operation. Because of time restriction that have been announced by government, the time of operation system have been disturbed. This thing will make all process in the use it all system and 3R process become slower. As we know that the main function of the use it all system is to reducing the agricultural waste in the field, which is we process all the agricultural waste into the useful product such as organic fertilizer, compost, moss, and others. The problem that arise during COVID-19 can be fully handled by this system, which is this system using automatic system to producing new product from the agricultural waste. Only in a recycle house need a lot of workers to collect the agricultural waste, such as cow dung, which is a worker need to collect all cow dung manually. This thing can be handled by the workers by doubling the area of collecting cow dung. This system also will supply all material that field need, such as compost, organic fertilizer, and others. So the production will no need to worry in case the field faces problem regarding field material. In simple word, by using this system, it can reducing the cost of production. And increase the profit of production. At the same time, will maintaining the soil fertility, environment, and ecosystem.
So, as this sum up, the proper and efficient methods on agri-waste management is very important and crucial in order to save our lovely earth. Those agri-waste, if being used well or managed properly, it will lead us to 1001 benefit not only for us by providing extra benefit, but also towards other earthlings such as environment and animals by improvising the environmental status such as increasing the soil nutrient, the texture, the structures, the pH, the CEC, moisture content, and others, but also to protect the animal from being polluted and extinctions. So that's all from me for these presentations on the topic of a proper management for agri-waste productions. And thank you so much for spending your time and lending your ears to watch and hear my presentations. I hope you really enjoyed this presentation video, and that's all from me. Thank you so much. Bye.